Welcome back to the second part in our video series where we are making a 3-page responsive website about Justin Timberlake. In the first video you would have created the first 3 pages which had the HTML code all set up for you. So you created the home page which looked something like this. Once you finished doing the HTML, you had a lyrics page which had the little audio track plus all the lyrics to his Can't Stop the Feeling song, and then you had the video film clip for that song as well to go with it. Okay, it looks quite ugly at the moment because we have just coded up the HTML part of the site. What we're going to do in this video is the CSS coding. Okay, and that's going to make it look a lot nicer and a lot more professional. And as I said before, we are going to make it responsive so we can view this web page across different platforms such as mobile, tablets and desktops. So to get started, we're going to go back into brackets. And you should have the index, the lyrics and the video pages all opened up down the side here. Okay, what we're going to do now is make up our CSS document. So go to File and New, and before you start typing anything, just go to File and Save As. And you're going to go back to the folder where you've been saving all your HTML documents. So it's in my web design Justin Timberlake folder. Just give it the name style.css. Okay, make sure you got the CSS on the end of that just to tell the computer we're making a style sheet. And click on Save. Alrighty, so first thing I'm going to do is just link our HTML pages up to this style sheet. So any adjustments we make in the style sheet will be put across to all of the HTML pages. Okay, so back on the index HTML page, what I'm going to do is just find the title section at the top of my page. That's on line 4. And I'm going to press enter after that. And the line below there, what I'm going to do is just write in pointy brackets, link, and then rel equals, and in quotation marks we're going to write style sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to put a space and write href equals and simply choose style.css and close your pointy brackets. That's basically saying we're linking up this HTML document to the style.css document. Okay, so all the styling we do in our CSS will be applied to this HTML document. Okay, copy that piece of code now. So just Control C to copy it. Go across to your other pages, the lyrics and the video pages, and just paste it in the same spot underneath your title. Okay, make sure you're saving these pages as you do this as well. Alrighty, so now our index, lyrics and our video pages are all linked up to our style sheet. Okay, so let's go back to our style sheet now down the left hand side here, and we can start styling up these pages. Now the first thing I'm going to do, since we are making this mobile responsive, is we're going to start doing the formatting for the mobile phone first. Okay, so in our live preview, I'm just going to reduce the size of my screen to roughly what a mobile phone size would be. So about that size. We'll get it right in just a moment, but that's roughly the size our mobile phone screen is. About 480 pixels wide is what we work with. Okay, so I'm not looking too flush at the moment. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put in a comment first. Okay, the way we do comments in CSS is we do a / and a little asterisk, and I'm just going to write in capital letters mobile formatting. And to close my comment off, I'm just going to do an asterisk and then another /. Okay, remember comments, these actually aren't pieces of code. Okay, this bit is not going to be read by the computer. It's just there for our sake, just to tell us what's going on in our style sheet. Okay, we can come back, and this is just plain English saying what's happening in this section of the style sheet. Okay, so the next line down, first thing I want to do is put a background color into my document. Okay, so I'm going to write in the HTML tag first and open up the curly braces. And to change the background, you just need to write in the word background and choose a color. Now I was going to choose black, but I was just reading recently that you shouldn't choose plain black as a color in your websites because apparently there's nothing in the real world that is actually completely black. Okay, so we're going to choose a very dark color which is close to black. So I'm going to do hashtag 070707 and do a semicolon at the end of that. If I hover over that, you'll see that it's basically black as my color. It's just a very, very dark grey. Alright, if I save that up and go and look at my live preview, you'll see that I've got that very dark color now as my background. And that's going to be applied to all pages. Okay, has covered up a lot of our text because it's the same color basically, but we're going to bring that back shortly. Okay, so that's all the formatting we're going to do for our background. The next section we're going to style up is the body section. Okay, if I just go back to the index page for a sec, you'll see my body tag here. That's the opening one, and the closing one's all the way down here. So everything inside those body tags is about to be styled up. Okay, so that's quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to write in the word body, open up my curly brace, and the first thing I'm going to do is change the fonts. Okay, so I'm going to change the font dash family, and I'm going to choose sans serif as my font, as that is known to be an easier to read font than a serif font on a screen. I'm going to change the size from font dash size to 1 EM, so it's the most appropriate size for whatever screen we're looking at it on. And I'm going to put in a bit of line spacing, so we do that by writing in line dash height, and I'm going to set it to 1.5 EM. Don't forget to put semicolons at the end of these. Okay, and the last thing I want to do to this font or text is change its color so we can see it again. Okay, so just write the word color, and I'm just going to choose white. Control S will save that. If we go back now and have a look, okay, you can start to see we've got the white text here, and it has changed its style a little bit. Okay, it's no longer a serif font, it's now a sans serif font, so it doesn't have little caps on the end of each letter. A little bit easier to read. Okay, and if we go across to the other pages, the lyrics, yeah, looking the same, and video looking the same too. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now you might notice there's this little black margin just down the side of the picture here. Okay, it looks like our web page isn't completely stretching across to the edge of the page, so what we can do, still inside this body section, is just write margin and set it to 0. Alright, that'll fix that problem. So that's our body section all styled up. The next thing I want to do, if I just go back to one of these pages, okay, is style up this top section, the header. At the top of our page it says Justin Timberlake. I really want that to stand out across each of these pages. Alright, so what we're going to do is just go back to the style sheet, and we're going to write in the header tag and open up our curly braces. First thing to make this stand out, I'm going to change the background color, and I'm going to choose lawn green as my color. If I hover over that, you'll see that that's a pretty fluoro green. Okay, that's going to be the background color now for our header. Now it is pretty small up there, so we might change the color of it. We also notice that this white text doesn't contrast well with the light green, so we're going to have to change the color of that as well. Okay, so to change the color of our text, just write the word color, and instead of using black, I'm going to use that very dark color again, so hashtag 070707. Right. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, as I said before, so let's just change the font dash size. Since we're doing mobile phone screen size, we won't go too big, we'll make it 2 EM, so double its usual size. We might make it bold as well, so let's write font dash weight and choose bolder. Okay, what else can we do? We might center it on the document as well, so let's just go to text dash align and choose center. And I might save that and have a look. We'll see how we're looking at the moment. Yeah, looking pretty good. We're a little bit cozy in there though, with that text being so big now. I might add a bit of padding in. So just on the next line, just write padding and throw in about 30 pixels of padding around our header. So now when we have a look at it, we've got a bit of extra space or padding around each side of our text. So that's a pretty good header. I'm happy with that. That looks good at mobile screen size. The name fits nicely. Okay, I think we can keep moving on. Next thing I might do, if we scroll to the bottom, is the footer. Okay, this little copyright statement. We've done the header, so let's just go down to the footer. So I'll put in the footer tag, open up the curly braces. Now for the footer, we're going to make the text a little bit smaller. So I'm going to write in font dash size, and I might go to 0.75 EM. So that's 3/4 of its original size. It's still fairly close to what it originally was, just a little bit smaller. I'm going to go text align and put in the center, so it centers it on our page. I'm going to change the background color. I'm going to go with a deep pink for this one. And last of all, I'm just going to change the text color to white. Control S to save that. And we'll go and have a quick look. Alright, that's looking pretty nice. Actually, I don't know if I had to actually write in that last bit of code, color equals white. Let's just delete that for a second, have a look. No, I didn't need to write that, so you can leave that color white out of the footer section if you want. So that's our footer section there. We make the text a little bit smaller, we center it on the page, and we change the background to that pink color, and we get that little footer at the bottom. So this page is looking quite good now. If I go and check out the lyrics page, let's look at the bottom, the footer's looking good, header's looking good, and obviously the same for the video as well. Okay. So far so good. The next issue we've got is this big image. Okay, if we have a look back at the index page or the home page, this picture here is way too big. Okay, so what we're going to do is fix that up. So let's write in the image tag and open up some curly braces. First thing I'm going to do is change the width of that picture. As I said before, 480 pixels width is roughly the size of a mobile phone screen. So we'll go less than half of that. We'll make it about 200 pixels for the width of that picture. We'll save it and have a look, and that's much better size. It's fitting nicely on our page now. Probably nice to get it centered as well. We'll have to do that in a minute. What I might do is stick a little border around this picture. So I'm going to put some padding in first. I'm going to put 5 pixels of padding in around the picture, and then change its background color to yellow. What that's going to do is put a 5 pixel border around my image. Okay, so if I save that by pressing Ctrl S and have a look, there's my 5 pixel padding around the picture, and I've just coloured that padding in yellow to make it look like a border. So that's looking good. As I said before, now I want to get this picture centered. Okay, and the way we do that, we're going to have to actually go back to our index page first, and we're going to have to wrap this image up in a class name. Okay, so what I'm going to do, on my index HTML page, look for where you've got your picture. So that's this line of code here. It's about on line 20 for me. I'm going to go inside this p tag here and give it a class name. So p class equals, and I'm just going to write image. Alrighty. Once I've got that in, I can style this class up to center what's inside it. So I'm going to center the picture inside of it. So I'll save the index page, and I'm going to go back to my style sheet now, and what I'm going to do is write dot image. So now we're going to style up that class that I just created, and all we want to do for that class is text align center, and that basically moves our picture to the center of the page. If I save that and have a look, you can see now we've wrapped up this picture in a little container, and we've pushed it across to the center of the page. Okay, don't worry about those blue lines, that's just brackets showing me which section we're styling up at the moment. If I click away from the style sheet, you should see those blue lines disappear. Now, apart from the navbar, that's a pretty good looking page there. Might need a little bit of padding in there around the text. Okay, I can just see this text is hugging the edge of the page a little bit too tightly. So what I might do in my style sheet is just put in an article tag and just give it a padding of 10 pixels. Okay, and if you look back at the index here inside the article section, there's our opening tag and there's our closing article tag, it's just all writing. So that's going to now have 10 pixels of padding around it and just pushes it off the edge of the page. It makes it look a little bit more professional. Same on the right hand side. Okay, so text is good, footer's good, picture's good, it's just the navbar. Okay, and we're going to style that up soon, but not just yet. Okay, I might just work on these other pages for the minute. Okay, so let's go and have a look at lyrics here. We might start styling up the lyrics page next. Right, so over in my lyrics page, let's go and have a look at it. We probably want to put a bit of color into the section down here. Okay, we've got this H2 heading here that says can't stop the feeling. Just scroll down a little bit, you'll see it just here. Here's the H2 heading, can't stop the feeling. And it might be good to style that up. So let's go to our style sheet. And down the bottom, I'm just going to make a bit more room here. I'm going to put in the H2 tag and open up my curly braces. And what we want to do to this is give it a bit of colour. So the colour I'm going to go again is the lawn green. So that makes our H2 heading there a greeny colour. Might make the text bold, so let's change the font weight to bold. And I'm going to put it in uppercase. So text transform, I'm just going to choose uppercase. When I save that now and have a preview, you can see that this section here now is looking a bit better. So our little subheading, it's got a bit of style to it. Coming in below that subheading, you'll notice that we've got verse 1, pre-chorus 1, chorus. What I want to do now is style them up. Okay, and if we look back at the lyrics HTML page, they're all inside these H4 tags. Okay, so if we style up the H4 tags, all these little subheadings again are going to be styled up. So let's go below the H2 and we're going to put in the H4 tag this time. And all I want to do is change the color to one of the other colors I used before, the deep pink. If I press Ctrl S and save it, you'll see now that each of these subheadings in the lyrics stand out a lot nicer with that deep pink color added to it. Okay, and it goes with the footer at the bottom, so the color scheme I'm using really matches with each other. So it's consistent from page to page. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Next thing we might do is just style up this audio control. Okay, it probably doesn't need to be styled up, but I'm just going to show you a few little tricks to make it look just a little bit different. So what we're going to need to do to style that up is just go back to our lyrics page for a sec here and find our audio section here. Okay, this section tag, we're going to have to give it a class name. So section class equals, and we're going to call it audio. Because what I'm going to style up is this section. Okay, so that's why we had to give it the unique name audio. Alright, so save that and go back to your style sheet. And what we're going to do to style up the audio section is write .audio. Okay, and first thing I'm going to do inside the curly braces is change the background color behind the audio to be yellow. Okay. If we save that and have a look, let's see if that actually does anything. Yeah, there we go. Puts in a little bit of a yellow background behind it. Doesn't look too neat just yet, but we'll fix that in a sec. Next thing I'm going to do is just align that in the center. So text align as center. Save that and you'll see it starting to look a little bit nicer. Now it's come across into the middle. It's kind of hugging the top and not the bottom of that yellow box, so you might work on some padding. Okay, so there we go. Padding dash top. We'll make it 7 pixels of padding. If we save that and have a look, you can see now I've got a little bit of space above that audio player, which matches the bottom. It's looking good. Might adjust the width so it's not too wide. So width, I'll write 360 pixels. Remember our screen at the moment, because we're on a mobile device, is 480 pixels, so we'll just go a bit smaller than that. Anything else we need to do? I might just save that and have a look. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. If I stretch that out, not too bad. But this yellow section and the little audio player sitting on the left, it'd be nice to get in the center of the page, I think. So I might try and center that by writing in margin 0 auto. I'll save that and have a crack and see how that does. Yeah, there we go, that centers it on the page. So no matter how big the page goes, that little audio player is going to be centered. Okay, so that's about our mobile phone screen size there. That looks pretty good. Alrighty, so apart from our navbar, which I'm going to style up later, I don't think there's anything else on the lyrics page that needs styling, so that's good. Let's go across to the video now and just style up the video page. That shouldn't take us too long either, because most of it is styled up already. I know the video is a bit too big, so let's start styling that up. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all, we're going to need to go to our video.html file and find where we've got that video thrown in. Here we go, in this section here. Okay, here's our video down here. So what I'm going to do is style up this section. So I need to give this section a class name. So section class equals, we'll just call it video. Save that page, pressing Ctrl S, and go back to your style sheet. Now to style up the video section, we just put .video. Okay, we're going to do similar things to what we did with this audio. So the background yellow, I'm going to copy that and just paste it into the video section. I want the section behind the video to be coloured in yellow. Let's just save that and have a look. Yeah, interesting, not too bad. It's going to work in a moment. I've noticed that this text is hard to read now, so I might just quickly change that text color. Not to black, we'll do that hashtag 070707 again. That makes our text a bit easier to read. Let's center it, so let's just do text align as center. And we'll save that and have another quick squeeze. Yeah, it's getting there. If I make this a bit bigger, we're going to see this video a bit better. You can really see that yellow background behind it now. So yeah, that's looking alright. Might add in a bit of padding at the top and bottom now as well, so it's not too close to the other sections. So still in the .video section below the text align. I might put in a little bit of padding at the top. So padding top, I'll put 10 pixels. And then padding bottom, I might set to say 25 pixels, just a little bit more. If we save that and have a look, you'll see now I've got a little bit of extra space at the top. A little bit of extra space at the bottom. Okay, so that's looking good. If I resize this back to mobile phone screen size, it's looking okay, but I'm thinking this video needs to be a bit smaller. It's just too big. Okay, if I play it, can't see it all. I'm actually missing half of that video. So the easy way to do that, all we need to style up is this video section here. So just the video tag itself. So back in the style sheet, just write the word video and adjust the width 360 pixels, a bit like the audio player. Save that up and have a look. Now our video is 360 pixels wide and it fits quite nicely into our mobile phone sized screen. So that's looking good. We've got all the pages done now at mobile phone resolution, apart from the navbar. Okay, the navbar always takes a little bit longer. It's quite fiddly. So let's start work on the navbar now. Okay, I think we're done with all the other sections. So in the style sheet, what we need to style up, I'll just go back to one of the HTML pages for a minute, is this section in here, the nav section. So you've got the unordered list with 3 list items inside it, and each of those list items is a hyperlink. So I've got a few things to style up here. So what I might do is put in a comment. So I'm going to do a / little asterisk and just write, what can I write? I guess I'll write navbar formatting. Then I'll do an asterisk and a / to end that comment. Okay, so remember it's just plain English. It doesn't get read by the computer. Alright, so navbar. Let's start formatting it. I'm just giving ourselves a bit of room so we can see what we're doing. First thing I'm going to style up is the unordered list. Okay, so I'll write in the UL tag and open up some curly braces. First thing I want to do is remove the bullet points from here. And that's an easy one to do. All we do is do list-style-type. So the list style type we're going to set to none. If we say that, you'll notice that the bullet points have disappeared. We got rid of the style from those bullet points, which is good. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to, if you notice a little bit of space between the heading and the body, there's this black space running through here. Let's get rid of that. So I'll get rid of that by getting rid of the margin. So the margin will be set to 0. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is set the padding to 0 as well. That'll just keep our menu bar position on the left of the page. Okay, so you can see now that it's hugging the header and the body section, okay, which is what I was after. The other thing I'm going to do is change the background color. So let's change background. I'm going to change it to deep sky blue. Okay, that's a nice color that I was looking at before. If we save that and have a look, you'll see that our menu bar now has a nice background color. And the last thing I'm going to do is change the overflow to hidden and save that, and you're probably not going to see too much difference right now. That will make an effect a bit later on. Okay, so that's our unordered list all styled up. Okay, what we're going to do now is style up the individual list items, so basically the individual buttons inside that list. So coming in below the UL, we've got the LI tag that we need to style up. So write in the li and open up your curly braces. First thing you want to do is float it to the left. And when you save it, we've floated those list items over to the left of the page, and that puts them on a single row. Okay, so it's starting to look a bit more like a navbar now. That's all we're going to do for the list item section. What we're going to do now is style up the links, or the A tags, inside of those list items. Okay, so the way we write that is we write li first, put a space, and then the A tag. So it basically says we're styling up a link inside of a bullet point. A little bit confusing, but just roll with it. It'll make sense soon. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start to make it look like a button. So we're going to change the display of our first hyperlink into a block. Okay, and if I save that and have a look, it doesn't do much. You might be able to see that they're being turned into little squares or rectangles there. You can just see some lines appearing in between that text. We'll keep going though and turn these into proper buttons. Okay, I'm going to change the color of the text to white, so it's a bit easier to read on that blue background. I might put the text in the center of each button, so text align will be center. Now to make them look a bit more like buttons so they're not so squished, let's put in a bit of padding. So 14 pixels and 16 pixels for our padding. And last of all, we want to get rid of the underline from the writing, so it doesn't look like a hyperlink with the underline under it. We're just going to make it look like a button, so we'll set the text dash decoration to none, and that just removes the underline from our hyperlinks. Now if we save that, we should have some pretty decent looking buttons. Okay, looking quite nice. So that's all we're going to do for the list item links. What I'm going to do now is make the hover effect. Okay, so when I hover over these buttons, they should change color. That's quite easy to do. All we're going to do is write in another li tag. We do the A tag again to show that we're styling up a link. I'm going to do a colon and write hover. So we're doing the hover effect now on our links. So open up some curly braces, and all you need to do is choose which color you want the hover effect to be. So just write background, and I'm just going to choose purple. Simple as that. Just changes the background of each button to purple when I hover over it. Save that up, have a look, and you can now see our buttons changing color. As I go through the other pages, that's looking good. Alrighty, so as far as I can see, that is my mobile formatting done. Okay, the home page looks great, everything's easy to read, Navbar's working fine. If I go to lyrics, we know the audio is working, it's easy to get through the lyrics with all the color coding going on, and the video fits perfectly. Okay, so that's my mobile phone formatting done. What I want to do now is format this website, the website, sorry, for tablet format. So it's probably around this size. If we were viewing it on an iPad or one of those Samsung tablets, okay, we'd be looking at it on a slightly bigger screen. So we can start to make a few of the things in our screen a bit bigger. For example, the video and this header at the top, they can all get just a little bit bigger. Alright, so I'll just go back to my home page. We'll start on that. We'll also make that picture a bit bigger, by the way. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do, back in my style sheet here, I'm just going to put in another comment. So / and an asterisk, and in capital letters I'm just going to write tablet formatting. Then I'll put in an asterisk and another / to close off that that comment. Okay, so to start styling up the tablet, what we need to do is put in a media query. Okay, so basically what we're going to say is when our screen gets bigger than 480 pixels, so let's say this is about 480 pixels here, when we go any bigger than that, we're going to change our styling. Okay, so when we're on a bigger screen, let's change our styling. So the way we write it is we do the @ symbol and write the word media, and screen, write the word and then in brackets min-width : 480 pixels. It's basically saying the minimum width needs to be 480 pixels. So anything bigger than that, we're about to adjust. Alright, on the next line, open up some curly braces. And the first thing I want to do is just style up the headers. Okay, but just go back and look at the example for a sec. This header, I think, can get a little bit bigger. So what I need to do is write in the header tag, open up some curly braces, and this time, our font size is going to be 2.5 EM. Originally it was just 2em when it was on a mobile phone screen, so anything less than 480 pixels. Now when we get above that size, our font size for our header is going to grow. So I'm going to save that and show you what I mean. Okay, this is at the iPad screen size. As I make my browser smaller and drop down to about 480 pixels, did you just see that change? You watch, I'll just flick between bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. Okay, so you can see as I adjust between the 480 pixels, when I go smaller, it gets smaller, this text. When I go above 480 pixels onto a bigger screen, that gets bigger. Okay, so that's working well. After the header, let's adjust that image size. So let's write in the image tag and open up some curly braces. Let's make the width a bit bigger now, up to 300 pixels. Originally it was 200 pixels, I think, so we've added an extra 100 pixels width to it. Okay, so if we save that and just have a quick look, let's have a look at it. There we go, it's got a bit bigger. So originally it was 200 pixels, now it's up to 300 pixels. And what I want to do is just push that to the right now of the page and let some of this text wrap around it. And that's an easy thing to do. All we need to do is go back to the code and just float that image on the right hand side of the page. It'll just be floating there now with the text wrapping around it. Okay, so we're at the iPad size, the picture gets bigger and the text wraps around it. If I make it smaller, the image will go to the center of the page and the text won't wrap around it. Alrighty, so that's looking good. Next thing I might do on the lyrics page here is just make this audio track a little bit bigger. Okay, so back inside my media query, I'm just going to put in the audio class, .audio class, and just adjust the width of it to, we'll go 480 pixels. Okay, and I might do the same for the video. Don't need to do .video for this, just video. Open up your curly braces and adjust the width to the same thing, 480 pixels. Okay, so our little audio player and our video are going to get a little bit bigger as we change our resolution. Okay, so you can see it's got a bit more width on it now, this audio track. As I go back down to to the mobile phone screen size, it drops back to 360 pixels in width. As I go bigger, it gets wider. Let's have a look at the video too. Okay, so this is at the tablet screen view. As I go back to the mobile phone screen view, it gets smaller. Alrighty, so that's looking good now. So this is about the tablet format here. Video page looks good. Lyrics page looks great. And the home page is looking nice as well. Alright, so we've got one more thing to do. We need to style it up for desktop view. That's full screen view. Alrighty, so stay on the home page here. What we're going to do, we've already made a media query for the tablet. What we're going to do now is do one for the desktop. Okay, so I'm going to do another comment, so a / and a little asterisk. I'll just write in capital letters desktop formatting. I'll do an asterisk and a / to close off that comment. Now I need to put in the media query again, so I'm going to write the @ symbol and write @media screen and in brackets the min-width. Now the minimum width for tablets, or the actual size of tablets, roughly 768 pixels for their screen resolution. So we're basically saying now anything bigger than 768 pixels is going to be adjusted here in this little section of code. Alright, so I'm going to open up a curly brace, and the first thing I want to change is the size of the header again. So I'm going to write in the header tag, open up another curly set of braces, and I'm going to adjust the font size. Okay, at mobile phone screen size it was 2em, so double its normal size. Then we went up to 2.5em at the tablet view. Now that we're in desktop view, so we're at full screen on a computer, let's make the font size 3em, so 3 times its normal size. It's nice and big. Okay, we'll save that. Just have a quick look. Nice big heading now, 3em. Reduce the size and you'll see this drop down right there. That's the tablet view. And if we keep going back to mobile view, you can see it gets even smaller. Okay, so that looks good. Another thing I might do is get this picture even a little bit bigger now on desktop view. Alright, so I'm just going to go underneath the header section and write img, which is the image tag. And to style it up, just change the width to, let's say 350 pixels this time. Put in a semicolon. And that's it. Okay, I think that's all I need to style up in the desktop formatting. Let's have a look. So the picture's nice and big now. Fills up a good chunk of that right hand side. The text wraps around it nicely. In the lyrics, everything's fine there. That's all good. And in the video plays fine. We can see it. So it's looking great at desktop view. Okay, tablet view we checked before. Mobile view we checked before. Everything seems to be working fine. So I think we have a finished responsive web page. Yep, so that's looking good. So what I'll get you to do is just pop back to your account. Probably delete some of these unnecessary rows. I've got quite a few there, so let's get rid of them all. There we go. Just scrolling back up through here. Yeah, it looks like everything's all good. We've got comments in just to label things, which is handy. Might be a good idea to do some of those comments in the HTML if you get time. But looks good, looks good, looks good. Alrighty, so make sure you go to File, Save All, and you now have a finished responsive website.